What's up, Steven? Hi, Bobby. Good morning. All right. Well, we're going to get cracking here. Make sure my lender guy shows. All right. All right, we're going to get started here.
Excellent.
Everybody keeps rolling in. We will get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how's everybody doing? I'd say top of the morning, good afternoon for some. Ross over there already in the afternoon. Hi, Danette, good morning. Oh, what a great Christmas tree you got behind you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Okay. Shereen, your Christmas tree's not up yet, Shereen? I had to give you shit about that one. All right.
I am such a Scrooge, you guys. I
gotta love
Scrooge on earth. But I will celebrate Christmas like by the 23rd. Okay. I will. I'll do it.
Yeah. She will. She'll put her tree up.
My grandkids, everything.
Yeah. She'll put her tree up and her presents out the same night.
And then they go down the next day. They're messy.
So
I'm the same way, Shireen. My wife goes, "Why do you take everything down?" I literally get the outside lights down on the 26th. Everything goes. Yeah.
I guess I have this aversion to mess and it looks messy, but I know it's supposed to look pretty. See, look how pretty that looks right there. Danette, that looks gorgeous behind you.
Yeah, Christmas tree behind you all glowing and glittery. It's beautiful back there. I love it.
Oh,
Look,
thank you.
I just put lights in all these plants. I could look the same way. Yeah.
You should string them on your little chandelier back there. That'd be fine too. Just intertwine them there.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah. It's like
Thanks for the inspiration, Danette.
a year-round club. Just kidding. All right. Awesome. All right. Tell me something good, everybody, besides we're all like gawking over Danette's Christmas tree. That's obviously something good this morning. Tell me something else good, everybody. Come on. We're like in the month of December. It is the season of Christmas and Christmas movies and all that good stuff. If you're into that, I love Christmas movies, by the way. Home Alone is my favorite. I could watch that every year. But anyways, all right. Tell me something good. Something good. Come on. Don't be shy.
You know what? I just think one thing I just want to encourage everybody to do, I did this with the team yesterday, is just understand, check your markets out. See how many deals closed last month. And then pretend there are no other agents and just be like, look at this market share I can go after. You know what I mean? Because I know everything's slowing down, but there's still a lot happening. And I think just putting your focus on what is happening and what you can make happen, regardless of interest rates, what time of year it is, just all of those things. I think just that mindset would be great. Anyway, that's kind of my mindset right now, is like, there's still a lot to do. And a lot of people need help selling their houses right now.
I know. I love it. It's about how you place your mindset right now, right? Instead of the gutter, put it in the sky. There's so many things to be grateful for. And business is great wherever you want it to be great. It's not great probably because it's not great in your head. Let's just start there. So I love it.
I actually agree with that too. I want to touch on that. Today I was just like, you know what? I haven't talked to a lot of my past clients recently, and I'm just going to call everybody and see how things are going. I was joking with Owen. By the time I got to my 5th call, now, of course, these are people that I was focusing on like year 1, year 2 of business. So it's been some time since they own their house, but I set like 3 listing appointments and had like 5 different people that were like, Ross, I actually want to move. And I'm like, it's crazy. So we might think things are slowing, but people are actually right now more mindful of thinking of purchasing in the next couple of months than we actually think. Yeah.
That's right.
It's not doom and gloom. Nope.
No, they're all out there just like they were before, except they're just not falling out of trees, right? We can go kick a can and they fall out of a wall. Now you actually got to go really hunt. So it's time to put your hunting boots on, people, and let's go hunting. It's there. Pull up every rock, pull back every curtain, look up every piece of wood. There's people are there ready to do their thing, their business. It really is just really going to be comprised of how hard, how bad you want it. And it'll happen. I promise you. Morning, Cindy Griffey. Awesome. Anybody else? Some good news? Something exciting in your neck of the woods? See some breakfast going on there, some coffee going on there. This is the break. Cindy, I know you got something always good to say. She can't keep her camera on. Oh, we're losing her. She's having technical difficulties. Poor Cindy. Even my lender guy, he must be.
I'll give you another one, man, or another just cool thing. So Evan Bossy, who's actually on this call, he's jumping in to kind of check us out a little bit here. The coaching session we do every Tuesday. Just an awesome agent. And, what I love about just what we do as realtors is we get to connect with other amazing leaders in the industry. He's here locally in Michigan. Had no idea who he was until Owen connected me with him, but just his energy and drive for the business, it's contagious. And I think that was just cool to connect with other people that are like-minded and forward thinking. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's cool. And it's cool to see him on the call. So thanks for coming, Evan. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Evan. Nice to meet you. I haven't seen your face, but yes, definitely a pleasure to have you here, and glad you joined us to come see our group.
Hi, Chris. Sorry, I always get intimidated by that red button, and I hit it, and I hang up. I don't know why.
The red button. I can see your finger.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to this Friday. I've got like 5 agents from other companies coming to Level Up, so I'm excited about that.
Nice. I know Level Up
You're
starts.
coming, right? Are you coming?
I sure am. I'll be there.
Okay. You're in too?
I think so. I don't know. It's string. I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Good. Look forward to it.
I see you guys. Go ahead.
I was just going to say one other thing that somebody mentioned to me, and it's such a great idea, is just events. Right now, you can, no matter where you are, where you live, look up Eventbrite, and instead of spending your money maybe on postcards, you might want to instead actually go spend your money going to events and meeting people face to face. Like, it's such an easy way. Everything is so different now. Everything is so much easier. I was talking to my dad, who's 80 something years old, and he sold real estate for 40 plus years, I think it was, but and how hard he had to work to be an amazing realtor, and how honestly easy we have to work to make things happen. But Eventbrite was, it was a sales rep from Fidelity that told me, hey, tell your agents, it was his idea, but it was a great idea. And, why not just go get on Eventbrite? Because when you meet people face to face, those people are like, wow, I'm so lucky I met that person. Now that, it's really a great way to spend marketing dollars is go to events. Anyway.
What? That is actually a smashing idea. Like Eventbrite has a whole list of things right there in your local space too. It's kind of geographically picks your spot. So you could literally do that. Right now it's the holiday season. Everybody's got holiday parties. Everybody is in this festive time and getting together. Take a bag full of cards and go crazy with that. Like literally conversations. That's amazing. Good idea, Shireen. This is season right now. This is it. People slow down and want to go party instead of go work. Unfortunately,
I feel like we need a segment every Tuesday of Shireen's great ideas, because every time I talk to Shireen, she just has a list of ideas. We need a spreadsheet of just this week's ideas of value. It's great. That's a great idea.
Just been in marketing.
Yeah. Well, she does. I remember the first interview I did with Shireen. Remember that book? She did the index cards. She remembered that idea. She had index cards, and she put stuff on the index cards, kept those. That would be a great idea to have a bunch of ideas on index cards for you guys to have and just kind of rotate it, maybe through the seasons, through holidays, 4th of July.
Cards, Chris.
I know.
Those were one for friends, one for family, one for realtors. And then every day you turn the card and you got to call one of them, whichever one is next, so that you stay in touch with all those important people.
So yeah, we should do the same thing though with Create with Shireen's ideas. That'd be awesome too. I love it. All right. Anybody else? I don't know. My mortgage guy must have got lost in some wind. Duncan's he's here. I don't know where he's at. So no mortgage minute at this point, but I could say I don't see anything bad about the mortgages. I don't really even pay attention to you guys. Have you guys had anything about? I don't think they've kind of got up anymore. I think they've kind of gone down. Relatively speaking, not like I'm a mortgage guy anymore, but yeah. I don't see any more information about it really going high and going to 8%. So nonetheless, I just say don't focus on the rates anyways, right? That's the white noise. Just focus on you and your business. Put your head down and go to business and do your thing. All that stuff has gone up and gone down through history in time of real estate. You've been in the business for more than 10 years. You know that it's been like this forever. It's cyclical. It roller coasters up all the time. So it's going to come, it's going to go. It's going to do what it does. You just got to worry about what you need to do. Right? That's it. Focus on what you need to do right now. So with that being said, we are going to jump right into our speaker of the day. Sorry, Nikki, that would give you a little more buffer there for our mortgage guy, but we are ready to go. We get to really love Nikki's accent, by the way, so you guys can listen to this. So she spoke on stage. She's EXP. She's an amazing individual. She's got a great journey and a story, her business and where she's at today. And I think it's very in alignment with where everybody's at right now. Everybody's in a place where they're going through something in life, and could be challenges. It could be something that propels you. Who knows? However you look at it. But just want to introduce you guys to Nikki. Any EXP events, plug into her. She'd be welcome to say hi to you guys, grab coffee and chat with you. But yes, Nikki, please welcome to the meeting. We appreciate you giving us your time today. I know that you're busy and you got to do your thing you're doing. I think you were just in Costa Rica, right? Or you're traveling?
I went to Costa Rica for the week. Actually, what's awesome is my best friend is a pilot. And so she is also a single parent. So I'm her +1, which means I get to fly free anywhere in the world. So we packed our bags to spend Thanksgiving in Manhattan. And what we do though is we bring warm clothes, we pack our warm clothes, and then, our cold clothes, and then we put our warm clothes in the car, in the trunk, just in case we miss a flight, because you have to have availability. So we drove to the airport, we get there, we miss our flight to New York. We thought we were going to spend the week there. We ran to the car, unpacked our bags, put in our warm clothes, and there were 70 open seats to Costa Rica. So we're on the flight, booking our hotel, and we spent the week in Costa Rica.
Oh, geez. Now that is an amazing life. Come on. Yeah. That's a life by design, not by default. 100%.
Right. And just so you know, I live a life by design, not a life by duty, which I think is like a really powerful thing. It took me a long time to get to where I am mentally. I've done a lot of personal growth work. So I'm hoping that I'm in a vibration. I believe in energy. Everything we do is energetic, right? And you can choose to live in a high vibration, or you can be stuck. Sometimes you don't choose it. You don't know the difference between being stuck in a lower vibrational frequency and a higher vibrational frequency. So when you're in a lower vibrational frequency, it's a mindset of negativity. And that's, I'm very into the law of attraction too, which some of you might know, be familiar with. But whatever you are thinking, whatever your thoughts are, you are actually attracting. So if you're in a low vibration with negative thoughts, that is what you're going to be attracting, right? So I've done a lot of work to get to this place of like joy and abundance. And if I will not do things if they do not bring me joy, anything. So hopefully you guys will all get there if you're not already, because it's a beautiful place to be. But I'll give you a little bit of who I am, because I haven't even introduced myself yet. My name is Nikki Klein. I am in Boca Raton, Florida. I got my license about 9 years, I guess it'll be 10 years next year, which is wild. And I moved from London, England in 1999, which is why I have the twang of an accent. Went to work at MTV, which is a whole nother story. And then was in the freezing cold in Connecticut, moved to Florida, got my license because I had a not great experience with my realtor. And I was like, if this is the level of service, then I'm going to kick butt. So I got my license and the rest is history. I've been at EXP for 2 years and I just got my second icon last month.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. And I have a team, but it's a really small team. I'm very unconventional. So you may enjoy or not enjoy hearing this as team leaders. I don't call people. I literally attract people. I haven't ever made a phone call, a cold call. I haven't done anything. But what I did do is create a Facebook group. And I have a Facebook group locally for the community of over 30,000 people. And what I did was I saw that there was, in my Facebook group, it's a mom's group, right? So we had a lot of moms in the group who were asking for babysitters. So I was like, oh, well, obviously there's this need for babysitters in our area. So I created the Boca Moms and Babysitters group, and we have about 20,000 people in that, right? So I have not really spoken about real estate in my groups. What I do is when they enter my group, I ask them if they're moving to the area. And so I've captured a lot of leads from that, but I also do, like, I provide a really good service to my clients. I fight for them. And so, you know, word spreads and I get business that way. But I truly believe in being your true, authentic self is what attraction is. I think there's this like misconception when people say, oh, agent attraction or client attraction. What they're really thinking is like agent chasing, but it's like this, they're missing the word. They're missing what attraction truly is. And I can tell you, attraction, the true definition of attraction from my perspective is being your true, authentic self. And not the self that you think the other person wants you to be so that you attract them to being who you think they want you to be. It is being you. And you have to be okay with some people not resonating with you, which is great because they're not your people. And some people resonating with someone else. And that is one of the reasons why I've been successful in real estate, is because I understand that people aren't really my competition. A seller, I could walk, it's just like when you have a buyer that walks in a house, there's nothing you say that's going to convince them to buy a house. They either feel it, it resonates with them, or it doesn't. The same thing goes for a seller when they're looking for an agent. Either they're going to resonate with the agent or they're not. There's very little that you can say that's going to convince somebody to use you, right? And if you look at it from the perspective of how you feel when you're going to buy something, when you are being sold to, when you're, you know, it's like, how do you like to be sold to? Do you like to be sold to? Or do you just like to have conversations? Treat the client, the agent, whoever you're talking to in the same way that you want to be sold to, right? That's something that will totally shift how you do life, how you just giving you different perspectives. So what I have found on my journey is, and I don't know where we're going to go with this because I just let things come in. So feel free to ask me questions because we can make this super interactive as well. If you're like, how the hell did you build a group with 30,000 people? I'm happy to talk about that. But yeah, feel free to interrupt, ask questions, and I can go from there. But I'm a very firm believer. What I've learned over the years is that we are all energetic, infinite beings. And what people tend to do is agree and align or resist and react, right? But if you want to stay super present, it's being in unity and not pulling into those it's the magnets, right? Like the polarity. We want to stay away from the polarity and stay in the unity, which is how you can be your true authentic self. And for me, it took a long time to find my voice. I really struggled, like, I know I'm feeling this thing, but how do I verbalize what I'm feeling? Like, I'm so mad, but I don't really, how do I unlayer the reason why I'm mad or what's going on? So it took a long time for me to get through all of the layers, because we all have stories, right? We all have stories from how we grew up and different perspectives. And let me tell you, you are the main character of your story. Everyone else is B-roll. That goes for everyone else too. They're all the main characters of their stories, right? So nobody's going to care more about you than you. And I just made a post about this. Nobody's going to, I'm confused because somebody raised their hand, right? Did somebody raise their hand?
I think Joanna did, but yeah, if you want a thought, go for the thought. We can come back and watch this in a minute.
Yeah, sorry, I had a thought, but I didn't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead. I'm not used to the Google Meet thing, so go for it. This is exciting. It's like,
Thank you so much. I'm loving this. So
Yeah.
I guess a question for you it would be, you said it took you a while to find your voice. What were the tools or courses or books or whatever it was that helped you to do
well,
to
I'm
make that
actually
transition?
teaching a course on it. So I will give you all the information. I'm going to be doing a masterclass on finding your voice because I totally understand. I remember when I got divorced, we went to couples counseling, and I was the one that decided the relationship wasn't for me because I couldn't really, I didn't know who I was. Like, do I like going to Chinese restaurants because I like it or because that's what we do? Do I like, what do I like? What does Nikki like? And so we went to counseling, and they were trying to probe me with like, tell me what's going on, tell me. And I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know how to express my feelings. I didn't know. So there's a lot of different tools that you can do to unravel who you are. And it's being really self-aware, like being self-aware and becoming an observer and being super present, right? Like when we are depressed, it's because we're thinking about things from the past. And when we're anxious, it's because we're thinking about things from the future. So our goal in life is to stay totally present, because that truly is where the magic happens. So I can, it's not really one or two things that help you find your voice. It's really, it's a lot of different tools and modalities that you would go through in order to clear the interference that's in your system. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I've learned is to speak at a higher frequency. So it's going to attract the people who are interested in this work, who want to move forward and learn more. And you may be like, oh my gosh, what's she talking about? This is like, you remember who you are. Remember who you are without the stories, without everything that you grew up with. Who are you? And that is the beginning to awakening to who your true authentic self is. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So I'll just go back to how I started a Facebook group, because I always get this question. I always get like, how did you start this? So back in 2000, like 15 or 16, something like that, I moved to Connecticut. My ex-husband is a physician, so he did residency at Yale University. And so I didn't know anybody. And I was like, well, if I don't know people, I'm sure there are other people that won't know people either. So I created a Facebook group with the intention of bringing the community together, which worked beautifully. I got about 500 people in the group. And I knew that it was a really powerful tool when I had speed bumps out. And I wasn't a realtor, by the way. I didn't become a realtor until I moved to Florida. But there was speed bumps. So it must have been soon. It must have been earlier than 2015. But there was speed bump, cars speeding outside my house. And I was like, rallied this community group to come together. And within 2 weeks, the city had put speed bumps outside my house. And I was like, this is really powerful. Like, this is like, why are people not doing this? This is a really powerful thing. And then you know what I realized? Is that everyone looks at everyone else to be the leader. Everyone's like, who's going to do this? So you guys can do this. Like, be the leader. Figure out what the niches are in your area. Figure out what the missing gap is, right? Like, we didn't have a solid, so sometimes when I first moved here to Florida, there were maybe like 30 or 40 Facebook groups, community Facebook groups in our area. And they were very salesy, or it wasn't run how I wanted it to run. So when I put my energy into it and my true authenticity, and I came from value, if you're going to go into a Facebook group wanting to create it to make sales, you're going to fail, because people feel that. Just like you feel when somebody's selling you, when somebody posts just sold, right? Why? Give me a story. Like, tell me why this just sold. Why is this closing so important to you? What about it? Bring the story, bring the emotion. People want to feel that they want the vulnerability. They want to know, like, oh, my client, they're empty nesters now and they needed to move. They wanted to downsize. It was so emotional. They lived in the house for 30 years. But what do we see? Most agents just closed. Nobody cares. Sorry. Like, just like you don't care when you see somebody else. So look at things on social media from an outsider's perspective. I'm really like going all around the gamut here. But like, yeah, social media, I want you to really take it in from an observer's perspective. I want you to look at it without you being the source. I want you to look at it from, if somebody else was posting this, how would it make me feel? How would I feel if I saw this post? Because a lot of people just like frivolously post stuff, right? And then they're not going to get the engagement, or they wonder why they're not successful in business, or on and on and on. So that would be my biggest advice with posting on social media. I totally lost my train of thought, but if anyone has any questions about that, let me know. Happy to answer anything. Let's see. So I moved to Florida, started the Facebook group. And by the way, when Shireen was talking about Eventbrite and all of the in-person meetings and stuff, I just want to let you guys know that there are opportunities everywhere that I really want you to open your mind to, because sometimes when we set goals, we have tunnel vision and we don't see what's possible outside of those goals, right? So I'm not a huge goal setter because, again, I'm unconventional. I truly believe that if I'm tunnel visioned, I'm missing everything outside of it. So I like to really expand my horizons and be like, oh, I have a North Star, like, but then it's like baby steps, right? It's like little steps. Okay, I'm not going to create a goal of closing $50 million in real estate. Is that truly attainable? Maybe. But what I'm going to do is say, here's my North Star. And that way, if I don't reach it, that's okay. I'll just move it to next year. But I'm not going to guilt myself. That's what people tend to do, is they shame themselves or guilt themselves because they didn't hit a goal. And then if they do hit the goal, then they shame and guilt themselves because they hit it and they should have been bigger, right? So we want to avoid all of that. We want to just live life, flow, just go, just enjoy life. Right? Really, like, to have days on, have days off, spend time with your family, make sure that you are doing the things that you love to do, because you literally get to live once. So if you're doing things that you don't like to do, shift your perspective, right? Like, I have to pay bills. Do I love to pay my bills? Well, I turn it into gratitude. Like, how amazing is it that I get to pay my bills? Like, I have the opportunity to do that because of the money that I'm making from real estate. So you can change anything that you do that you don't like to do into something to be grateful for, right? I mean, it is what it is. All right, so I wrote a few notes just in case I was like, ooh, what else can I talk about? Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? This is a really good one. So sometimes we tend to project, right? Like, oh, that person did this or that person did that. And what I want to, like, this came to me, that nobody actually lets you down. They are letting down your fantasy of what you think they are letting you down for, right? Like, we come up as individuals with stories in our minds of how things are going to go. And sometimes they don't go that way. But the other person may have no idea about what your fantasy or story or idea of the future is, or what the expectation is. And again, that's sometimes because we don't use our voice to say it. It's in our mind. So we think, oh, well, it's obvious because I'm thinking it. But not everyone's thinking those things, right? Which is really powerful. If you can sit back and look again from an observer's perspective, how can I raise my vibration, raise my energy so I can become an observer, not react and respond, not align and agree, be totally present with what's happening? It's magic. That's where all the attraction is. That's where, you know what it is? It's like you sit with yourself and you can hear for the first time. So a lot of people don't like to meditate. I was one of those. I was like, you're going to make me sit down for an hour? What a waste of time. You're going to make me sit down and think about my thoughts for an hour? Well, once you reach the point of getting to an energetic space, you no longer have those thoughts. Like, if you think about monks who sit for hours, why can they do that? Because they don't have the noise, right? Most people live in a jail of their mind. I used to live in a jail of my mind where thoughts would just all the time. And I couldn't quiet my mind until I realized, like, those are all interesting. That's an interesting point of view. That's an interesting point of view. So for me, what has really worked is not having any points of views as much as possible. We're still human, right? Like, it's having one foot in and one foot out, of like being super present, because you can't, in an ideal world, you wouldn't have to work, right? You would just live in this blissful, joyful presence. But we do have to live in a world where people have to make money in order to survive. And if you can shift your perspective from thinking about all of the negative, I promise you, if you stop thinking about negative things and you focus on the positive, you know, some people talk about manifestation. Are you guys familiar with that word? So for me, manifestation is feeling into your future self before you become that person. Okay. So it is not just like, oh, I'm going to manifest winning the lottery. It is, what am I going to feel like when I win the lottery? Like, what does that feel like? Like, oh my God, I can just imagine all of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to go to these like 5-star restaurants. I'm going to give back to people. I'm going to be so grateful. I can just feel like what it's going to feel like. What's it going to feel like? Before I go on a listing appointment, I do this. I sit in my car and I'm like, oh my God, what's it? They're going to be so happy that they picked me as their agent. They are going to be like, I'm going to do such an amazing job for them. They're going to feel it when I walk through the door. Do you know that energy? When you have that before you walk into an appointment, that energy is contagious. You will get that listing if you have that type of vibration when you're walking into a listing appointment. You're unstoppable. So it's really raising your vibe. Anytime you get a negative thought, nip it in the bud. Like the law of attraction says, it takes 7 seconds for you to have a negative thought that spirals into more negative, right? Same thing with positive. So if you're going into a negative spiral, the fastest thing to do to move out of that is to think about something else, right? Either think about something else, go for a walk, go for a jog, do something that you love to do, but take your focus off of the negativity. And it really takes practice. Like at the beginning, when you first start doing it, you're going to be like, oh, you got to stop. You got to catch yourself. Nope, not going there. Nope, nope, nope. Until eventually your thoughts just become abundance. Lack attracts lack. Abundance attracts abundance. And when you have a little bit of abundance in your life, it grows into bigger than you could ever have imagined. Really. Like if I can have everybody living a life of the way that I like feel abundant and my friends feel abundant, because you got to be careful with who you surround yourself with. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are in a low negative vibration, that is what you're going to attract, right? You're going to be the people who speak negatively, the people who are in a low vibration. I'm actually going to be talking about this in my reel tomorrow. They are addicted to the negativity and the low vibration, which is why they are attracted to each other. So when you have somebody talk badly about you, you've heard that somebody's talking badly about you, right? 2 people or a group of people. They are addicted to that energy. They're staying low in low vibration. And once you reach a higher vibration, it doesn't even affect you. Your heart actually hurts for those people because you're like, oh, you're stuck down here. And I'm up here, and I'm so sorry that you guys feel like you have to be down here doing that. Well, I'm up here like loving life. Do you see how different it feels than getting sucked into why they did it? Then you're bringing yourself into that. You're bringing yourself into that negative vibration. So it's really important for you to recognize who you are surrounding yourself with. And as you grow and as your energy rises, people will fall off. You will no longer resonate with different people, and that's okay. I had lifelong friends. I wish them the best. We just grew apart because I wanted to grow and do the work and be, to have self-growth. And they wanted to stay where they were, but that wasn't enough for me. It's never enough, right? I'm growth and evolution over a lifetime. That is living to me. If I can learn something new every day and I can, become a better version of myself every day because I'm learning and changing my mind. And it's okay to try things on, right? Try ideas on, try different things on and change your mind. That's what we can do. But sometimes we're so programmed that it has to be this way, right? It doesn't have to be any way. You can do life your way, however you want to do it. So I don't know what else. What else can I share with you?
This is great. My whole philosophy behind everything in business is it all starts with your mind. If you can't get your mindset right, the rest of it is kind of irrelevant. I could put you in front of tons of trainings, send you to Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, we can send you anywhere. But the reality is if you can't figure out what's going on between your 2 ears, then the rest of it really doesn't make sense at all. So I coach everybody from the very beginning. It all starts with mindset, which is, I love this. You know, proximity is power. Who you share your time with, who you share your energy with, who you're influenced by, who your closest people are will show me who you are.
Right.
All this stuff you're talking about is great, especially right now. I think it's very timely.
Yeah.
A lot of people are challenged with this market and this business because they're just kind of like they're depressed a little bit. They're discouraged a bit. They're anxious a bit. They're not closing quite as much business as they were doing maybe in the past in 2020 and 2021. It's a different market then. And now if you really get to the point where you can't really hone into your mind and figure out how powerful that is, then you're not going to survive and navigate through these times of markets, which this is actually normal. For those who don't know it, this is normal.
Yeah. And
This
I also
is-
think
yeah.
it's the comparison, even comparing yourself to yourself is the comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Mhm.
So what about the people that are selling and buying with you? What gratitude are you giving them? Like, what are we doing for those people? We're so focused on the lack of what we don't have that we forget what's right in front of us. We forget to be grateful for these people who are trusting us with their services. Even if they're not buying tomorrow, they're still trusting us with our services. So what if we focus our energy on that instead of what we don't have? Because when you're focused on what you don't have, you're attracting that. So if you can shift your perspective to how can I, like, I am so great, like genuinely in my soul, grateful. That is magic. That's where magic happens. Gratitude, authenticity, highest vibration, gratitude right there with it. Like those two things, if you can have those two things, you are golden.
So maybe you could share with the group a little bit, because this is not something that you kind of wake up tomorrow, turn a light switch on, and instantly start thinking this way, right? This is a progress, not perfection method. And the
You
progress,
can't jump into it.
no. So maybe some of the steps that you had to take, because obviously I think, in my opinion, people kind of get to this place sometimes when they have to kind of go through the shit, to my friend, shit at the bottom, and they kind of rise to the top, or they don't. But the ones that are strong enough will rise to the top because they decide to plug into themselves and do something differently. Where was your turning point? Kind of what made you change this trajectory of who you are? Like you said, you weren't even the person who did meditation. That was not even your thing.
Oh no.
It is now. So what was the turning point for you to really kind of get into this space in which that you're now so plugged into wanting to become a better person in all areas of your life?
So I think what really, I think that it is about not having points of view, right? Like a point of view is that you have to hit rock bottom in order to ascend consciousness. That's a point of view, which that's not my point of view. My perspective is that sometimes you wonder, why are we here? And what else is, there's got to be more. There's got to be more to life than me making 100 phone calls a day. Like, come on, right? Like, what are we doing here on this planet? What are we really here for? And so once you hit that, everything changes because you start getting curious and you start like, what books can I read? How do I know more? Like, I want to know, like, how do I get there? Like, what can I, and so your curiosity kind of peaks for me. My curiosity peak. And that's also a really important thing coming from me. It's not you, it's me. So this is my perspective. It may not resonate with you. So from my perspective, you know, when people say, oh, you should read this book, or you should, really? Who says I should? Who's you, right? So it's like, when people ask me what books should I read, I will say, well, I read these books. Pick which one resonates with you. Because this is what I want people to really understand in this business too. When you see a successful agent who is selling hundreds of homes, that worked for them. Sometimes we put people on a pedestal. We do not want to put anyone on a pedestal. We are just like them. They just have figured out what resonates with them and they went with that. Same with me, with like, if I had done the things, if I had copied other people and it didn't resonate with me, I'd be miserable. I'd be so miserable. Like, just because they're selling hundreds of homes and making these calls, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, I could do it, but I'm not living in my true authentic self. I'm living in their true authentic self. That was what success means to them. That's not what success means to me. So it's finding your joy, what lights you up. Start there. Like figure out what are the things that I make a list. Like what do I love to do? I'll give you a really good example of how you can feel your body, right? How you can figure out, because our body is our true guide, right? It starts with the body. And sometimes what happens is we become the slave to our mind instead of the master. So the goal with this type of work is to become the master of your mind. Because otherwise it's like, I'm going to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm so tired. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. No, we are going to go to the gym and we're going to do that now. You have to be stronger than your body. Than your mind, I'm sorry. Your body has to be stronger than your mind, which is why it's so important to do things consistently. Now, everyone says consistency is key, but you can be consistent negatively too.
Yep.
So be very careful about what you want to be consistent with. Because while it is key, and it's very like, there's a lot of like things that people kind of throw out there, right? Like, oh, consistency is key. Wake up at 4 a.m. So what I always say is, and I love that for you. I love that for you. So get used to saying those things too, because it's easy for us to take on what other people do because they love it so much. And then we get so excited and we're like, I'm going to love that too. And you want to love it. And then you don't love it. And you're like, why don't I love it? This person loved it. What was wrong with me? Well, that's not you and your true calling. That's not your true authentic self. So what is it that you love to do? So start with those little things, like figure out in your body, your guidance system. And I want you to sit with this, because we'll see how you feel about it. But what I did at the very beginning of my journey was I would see if there was something that I wanted to do. And I would say to myself, body, how do I feel about this situation? Like, do I want to make 100 calls a day? And then in my body, I would get either a heavy or a light, right? All of us have it. We get either a heavy feeling or a light feeling. That is your internal guidance system telling you what they want, what it wants to do. And you can all try this. Like, do I want pizza or chicken? Like, do I like the little things? Like, try it. It's your internal guidance system, which is going to tell you what your true, authentic soul being wants. And that's where we need to start. So while our mind is super important, our soul is the true, authentic way of being. We're just in a little fat suit here on this planet. Like, we're just walking around. We all have it. That's why it's so funny that, social media has made us feel like, oh, we're not this, we're not good enough, we're not this, we're too much that. No, like everyone's feeling that same thing. But if you can look at yourself, like what a gift that we get to be here this one time in this lifetime on this planet, like in this body. How amazing is that? And we get to be present. And so if we can eliminate the thoughts of I'm not enough or I'm too much, and be present with the people who we're present with, so many people aren't as blessed as us, and things happen, and like in an instant, everything could change, right? With people in your life or whatever. So why not just be present and happy with where we are right now? Like, why are we taking that away from everyone around us? And it's also about setting up boundaries, right? I really hope you guys have boundaries with your clients, because I make sure that my clients know that there are no emergencies in real estate. After 6 p.m., we will be in touch at 9 o'clock in the morning. You do not need to answer your phone. You need to be present with your family. Because why do we do it? We do it so that we could be with them. Right? So if you're not being present with your family after hours, you're just living in this cycle of like hell, really, because you're not with them and they want you to be with them. So
it's kind of a mindset of scarcity versus abundance again.
Yeah, exactly. It's the lack.
Yeah.
And the lack is so hard to get out of if you're not aware of it. It's being aware, like, oh, I'm doing it again. I got to stop myself. right? I gotta be really self-aware of everything that I'm doing, so I make sure that I'm living presently. I'm not living in lack.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And boundaries is another one. My favorite word in the entire book is boundaries.
Yeah.
Most people lack them. Most people have no idea what they
Well,
are.
People-pleasing tendencies. It's like, I don't want somebody to think this, but you, first of all, have no idea what somebody else is thinking. It's impossible to know what somebody else is thinking. You only know how you think and how you would think in a situation, that is freedom in and of itself. When you have that realization that you don't know what somebody else is thinking because they're living their life based on their stories and their history, and you have no idea how they got to where they are. Oh, my client's going to think this. They're not going to, you don't know what they're thinking. And if they're thinking something, and let's say they stop talking to you, it could be for a totally different reason than you think, right? I used to think, oh, my client's so mad at me. And then a year later, they'd be like, hey, we had such a great experience. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought this person hated me, right? Because we create stories. We create the stories in our minds. And we can be so creative. We can come up with all kinds of things. So it's really being self-aware to know that you get to create your own reality. How amazing is that? You get to set the boundaries. You get to decide who you hang out with. You get to create your future. You get to have the choices. We all have choices, and we get to have those choices, make those choices to see how our future is going to move forward. So it's amazing stuff.
Yeah. Once you finally plug into it, realize that you have full control.
You have full control. Okay, here's how I want you to look at it. Look at it as if you are playing a video game and you are controlling the main character. And right now on this planet Earth, we are the character. And you get to control that character and which way they move. Are they going to move forward? Are they going to move right? Are they going to move left? You control it. Nobody else. So how are you going to move forward today? Are you going to sit and sulk and be sad and depressed? That sounds awful. Or are you going to be like, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible? What questions are you asking that raise your vibration? Those are the things that I like to do anyway.
I love it. Well, maybe you can also share something. You mentioned earlier your team is a little different because you're a little unorthodox. Your team's not that you have. What does your team look like that you have right now?
So now I have 3 agents. My director of ops, we parted ways yesterday, actually, and I'm so happy because it was when you have to really protect your culture, right? You have to really protect your culture. And so I am really looking to align myself with people who are growth mindset, like this type of energy, right? I want you to want the best life for yourself. I want you to go on vacation. If you're not taking vacation, you're not going to be a good fit for my team. I want you to turn your phone off at 6 o'clock. If you're not turning your phone off at 6 o'clock, you're not going to be a good fit for my team. So it's people who are living by design, not by duty. So for my team right now, I have 3 agents. I had 12 agents last year. We parted ways. I had coffee with one of them yesterday. She's like, can't it just be you and me? And I said, that is coming from lack. You can't just there is so much business out here, right? Which you may not think, you may be thinking in a scarce mindset, like, oh, there's nothing. There are always people moving every single day. Every single day somebody is moving. It's just having conversations with people. It's putting yourself out there. I bought, that was what I was going to say with Shireen. I don't know if I said this or not, but there was an opportunity where somebody was selling a meetup group with 2,000 people and it was like $60. And she's like, I don't want to pay the $60 anymore. So I bought a meetup group for entrepreneurs in Boca Raton. I haven't touched it yet, but you better believe I'll be hitting that up. Another way for you to prospect. So you can create your own, I don't know if do you have BNI groups in?
Yeah,
okay.
It's BNI groups.
Create your own networking groups with your vendors. Once a month, get together with coffee, have your lender pay for coffee and bagels or whatever you want to do, and have a plumber, an accountant, a lawyer, and connect and talk about what's happening in the real estate world and learn about what they're all doing in their industries. Agents aren't doing this, and it blows my mind. It's free. Like, you have all of the connections there, and you have to make sure that people who are in your networking group are bringing referrals, because if they're not bringing referrals, you're not going to be part of the group. We're all going to refer to each other. That's business right there. There are so many ways that if you're creative and if you really think about it, instead of like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get my next deal? It's like, how am I going to connect with the next person? Like, what else is possible? What can I bring them? Like, how can I give back? Because the law of give and receive is when you give, when you truly come from service, and not because you want something, you will be, the universe will respond. You will get back. And it will be nothing, like a thief in the night. It's like nothing you ever expected. And you don't know when or where or how it's going to come, but you will get, you will receive.
That's a great idea, because actually you're right. Like, look locally in your specific area, you can find your friends that maybe just are plumbers or electricians or carpenters or attorneys or whatever they are, and pull them all together. It's your group, and then you can pull them together and grab coffee once a month, start the group, and everybody brings referrals. It actually is it's free, and your time best use.
I don't pay for leads. I don't pay for leads.
Yeah,
I literally use the community as my private database.
Perfect.
You know, you can go live on your social media with a local attorney and ask them, hey, can you help? I want to interview you about setting up a trust, because I don't think a lot of agents even know what that looks like.
Yep.
So educate yourself while you're educating. Ask questions that you actually want to know the answer to, because if you want to know the answers to those, so do other people. So get on lives, and they're going to be, and then ask them to share it on their news, on their feed. Become like the local interviewer, so that you can have your questions answered. So when you're with a client at a listing appointment, hey, have you thought about putting your home in a trust? Have you homesteaded it? You know, things that you may not, you want to do a 1031 exchange. If you don't know what a 1031 exchange is, go meet an attorney and ask them to educate you. If you don't know things, like, education is key. Education is how you be curious in life.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you move ahead. The smartest people on the planet are the most curious people on the planet. They don't want to be the smartest person in the room. That's ego. They want to be the ones who are learning. They want to know, I want to know what you know. Like, show me the way. So
I love it.
That's how I do it.
I love it. And it works. And it really does work. And
it works for me.
Right? It does. And that's the key, right? What works for you. And you will do what you enjoy doing more of. When you have passion behind it, you'll do it more, versus trying to force yourself to do something because somebody else is doing it and they're successful at it. That's great for them. Like you said, find your niche. Find what motivates you. The best system is the one you're actually going to use. They say it all the time. What's the best one? The one you're actually going to use.
Right.
That's key.
Yeah.
Right. Find out what works for you guys. Nikki, amazing. I appreciate your time here today. Thanks for sharing everything. And I'm all about mindset, so this was perfect for me.
Yeah.
This is my space. I love it every time. I can get into 2 or 3 hour conversation about mindset and figuring out how to get control of that, being your authentic self, everything about that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And your story was amazing too. So you continue to crushing it, and you're doing great in this business. We're glad to have you part of EXP and our family as well. So now you know you're part of our tribe.
Thank you. It's great. I mean, what I will say about EXP, because I was at a different brokerage for like 7 years, is it's really like such an incredible community of open-minded, like-minded people. It's, you know, I always tell people it's an organization, it's a brokerage where you're an entrepreneur first, and then you also happen to sell real estate, right? Like, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you don't want to just live in this like hamster wheel of selling real estate, but you want to have these conversations and you want to learn about like different ways to invest and create generational wealth, there's nothing like it.
Nope.
From my experience, again, from my experience.
Most of us have been in this industry for a long time. And if you have, you know that's kind of what's the truth in that, right? Now you're in this place in your life where I'm grateful to be at EXP. I love it. It's a life game changer. And I've been at other places and I even had my own place. So yes. Thank you again, Nikki. Absolutely. Your time is valuable here. I appreciate you. Anything we can do for you,
Thank
let
you
us.
everyone for being here. I appreciate you guys all.
Absolutely. And you know what? Again, plug into EXP conventions or EXP shareholders or any events. You can walk up to Nikki, say hi, and she'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you.
That's right.
Share with you. And likewise, same here with us. Nikki, you're always welcome.
Real quick before we go, thank you so much, Nikki. Do you say you have something happening tomorrow?
No, I have a course. If you want to DM me on Facebook or Instagram, I'm Nikki Klein, Nikki _KLEIN, NIKKIKLE. Oh, it's in my thing. I am going to be having a masterclass on finding your voice, basically. There are so many people out there who like, how do I do that? I know that I need to do it. I'm not really sure. Like, where do I start? What do I, like, I want to be able to use my voice in a true, authentic way. I just don't know how to do it. How do I do that? So that's kind of the masterclass I'm going to be putting on probably next month.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Awesome. All right, guys, you have an amazing week. Love you all. Appreciate you all for showing up. I know it's the holiday season. It tends to get a little slower, but definitely keep plugging away. Do not give up because of turkey and all that good stuff. All right. You have an amazing week. And Thursday, EXP Explain for those who want to be it as well. And then I'll see you all level up on Friday this weekend on the Big Island. Have a great week, guys. Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.